it looks like we're all right. Okay, next slide. So today we're going to do all of the things that are on the list. And next we're going to take a look at the report from the sites, and I will put that in there. We have a report from our sites, and it's linked in the a report from the sites is linked in the chat right now. And also, if you go to our agenda, you can click on and you can see all the excitement that's happening at our schools. And we see that we have a lot of our schools that are finishing up their ELAC meetings and finishing up their initial LPAC testing. And a lot of schools getting ready for our events in December. We have trunk or treat nights coming up at different schools. So all kinds of really terrific activities happening at our schools. We're super excited about that. And leave that in the chat. You can take a look at it at your leisure. And we'll go ahead and go to the next section in our meeting. So we are going to be talking about the DELAC and the rules of the DELAC. So we want everyone to know that's here that our DELAC is our District English Learner Advisory Committee. And it is a committee that's made up of parents, staff, and community members. And it's designed to advise everybody in the district about our English learner programs and how we support our English learners. Next slide. Now, who can participate in our DELAC? Well, it's made up of parents and guardians of English learner students in Beaumont USD. But we can also have parents of non-English speakers and also community members and school district employees. We will have 5 DELAC members this year, and the majority of our DELAC members have to be parents of students that are English learners in our schools. Our site ELAC, and then we have 3 meetings a year. So we'll have one now in October, and then we'll have another meeting in early February, and then our last meeting will be in April. Next slide. So now that we talked a little bit about our DELAC and what we do need to elect new DELAC members for this year. So keep in mind that our members of DELAC are elected by parents of English learners, and that they need to be, the majority of our DELAC members need to be parents of English learners. We have 5 DELAC members, so we need to have at least 3 that are parents. And Rosa, I'll get you access to that document in just a minute. Should we change that? Rosa, try clicking through again. Here it is. Okay. And parent members of the DELAC, we elect officers, but we don't have to have officers. So we have chosen just to have DELAC members, and then we help facilitate the meetings at the district level. And the DELAC representative gives a report at each DELAC meeting about what happened at this DELAC meeting. So if you're here representing a site, please make sure you go back and talk to your the folks at your ELAC about what we talked about at our meeting today. Next slide. So the 7 responsibilities of the DELAC are to develop the district master plan for English learners, which we updated last school year. We also do a district-wide needs assessment. So we looked at what are our needs of our district in general. We'll be talking a little bit about that today with some conversations about categorical funding and our LCAP. And also we want to ensure compliance of teachers and our teacher and our teacher aid requirements. Also, we review reclassification procedures so that everyone can know how students are reclassified to fluent English proficient in our district. We review and comment on parent written notifications, and we review and comment upon the development of the annual update for the local control accountability plan, or LCAP. Okay, next slide. So we do need 5 members for our DELAC, and they can be, we can have all the members be parents, or we can have, but we need at least 3 parents of English learners to be members of our DELAC. So if you are interested in being an official member of our DELAC, or you would like to nominate someone, if you could put that in the chat right now. Now that'll direct message to me, and then I will share that information out to everyone in our group today. But is there anyone that would like to participate as a member of our DELAC? Okay, Michelle. All right, Michelle, terrific. Michelle Buenrostro is interested.
Yes, nice to meet you all.
Okay, and we need 4 more members. And if you can either nominate someone. All right, Rosa Marquez, who is only a parent this time, though. Rosa, that's different. Okay, we have 2 parents. We need at least 1 more for our DELAC. But we're so happy that you're here, Rosa. Rosa changed jobs and now she's somewhere else. That's great. So you need 1 more parent that's interested in participating in our, and if you were a participant last year, you can certainly volunteer, or you can nominate someone that was a previous DELAC member. I would like to nominate Stephanie. Are you willing to participate as one of our DELAC members this year, Stephanie?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Great, thank you so much. Oh, and Maria Gomez. Okay, Maria Gomez, are you on the call right now? Because you were nominated by Rosa Marquez to be one of our DELAC members. Yeah, Rosa, unfortunately, Maria is not with us today. You have to be here to participate. All right, so we have our 3 parents. We need 2 more community members. I nominate Olivia Orozco. Are you willing to be one of our DELAC members for this year? Okay, Olivia Orozco is going to be one of our DELAC members. And Rocio, are you willing to be one of our DELAC members? Just that means you be an official voting member of our DELAC. All right, Rocio Cornejo is going to be our last member. So now we have a full. Great. Okay, so we have our 4 members of our DELAC, or 5 rather. Okay. So with that, I'm going to put this up to a vote. I need everyone to go ahead, and we have our 5 members, Ashley. So we have Michelle and Rosa and Stephanie, Olivia and Rocio have all volunteered to be on our DELAC. If you are in favor, please, or not in favor, please put it in the chat so that you can register your vote. So if you get everyone that's in the meeting right now, if you could vote for our DELAC members, I'd appreciate it. So you just say yes or no. Okay, Emily says yes, Laura, yes. We have some enthusiastic yeses, which is good. And with all the yeses, we now have completed our election. So these will be our DELAC members for the coming year. Thank you so much for volunteering and accepting your nomination. And next, we will go to our next order of business, which is our language census with Olivia Roscoe. So Olivia, go ahead.
Dr. Barnett, I don't think she's able to talk. If we can turn, if nobody needs the translation, if we can turn it off, then she might be able to talk.
All right, let me take a look at this.
If not, I'll do it for her.
Hold on a second. It is off.
Okay. I'll go ahead and Olivia, if you can hear, I'm just gonna let her know.
Okay,
If she jumps in, she jumps in.
sounds good.
All right, I'm just gonna go ahead. All right, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you about the language census. We're gonna go ahead and first look at a chart of what our English learners, our population looks like here in California. So this pie chart is a great representation of our students. About half of our English learners make up in California are RFEP students, or reclassified fluent English proficient students. You'll see a quarter of it is our EL students that have 0 to 3 years. I like to also look at the purple, which is our English learners who are 4+ years as being an English learner, but not quite an LTEL. And an LTEL is a long-term English learner. You'll see down below there's some makeups of our English learners with some nice millions of numbers, but we're going to go ahead and I like to point out the chart because it's just really easy to understand our makeup of our English learners in California. I do want to say that looking at all of this data, I'm going to admit somebody really quick, sorry. There we go. I'm looking at all this data due to the coronavirus of the pandemic. Some of this data is not as current as normally. Usually we get current data every year, but it is the most current data we do have. So these are our English learners here in Beaumont Unified School District. You'll notice that our trend is that our number of English learners are declining. You can see in this graph that all the way down from 13.3% to 7%. So our number of English learners is declining here in Beaumont Unified. This is the languages of our English learners here in Beaumont Unified. Again, you'll see that Spanish is the language that is most commonly spoken among our English learners, and then the makeup of some other languages that we also have here in Beaumont Unified. And again, if you want the raw numbers, here's the raw numbers. In 2015-16, we had 1,090 Spanish-speaking students. And last data we have is 2019-2020, and we had 898 students. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and keep on going. So the next thing we wanted to talk about is absences and attendance here in Beaumont Unified. We realize with the pandemic that attendance can be a challenge right now, but that we also wanted to pinpoint how important it is that our students continue coming to school on a regular basis. So we gave this little chart of when it becomes a chronic absence, 18 days or more, but just to keep an eye on, again, coming to school every day, it's so important for your students or for our students. I like this chart. It's a little scary chart, but I like it because it does point out how chronic absences affect our students from kindergarten all the way up. And for example, if kindergarten and first grade, if students who are chronically absent, they have an 81% chance of reading below grade level in 3rd grade. But then jumping up to our 6th graders, if they are chronically absent by 6th grade, it's a leading indicator that a student will drop out of high school. So again, attendance does matter, and we just have to continue to do our best working, through this pandemic as well. But what can you do to help? So there's many things we can do to help our students with attendance, even though, there's some challenges, but there's many things that we can do. Just make sure you continue to set a regular bedtime for your students. Try our best. We know things happen, but try to avoid having any appointments that happen while school is in session. And just, trying to get to school on time will help your student feel successful when they come to school on time and they know what's going on when they get there. It makes them feel positive about their day, and they're just ready to take on, all the fun learning environment that, they have to enjoy for the day. All right, we're going to jump right into the next one. The next one is our reclassification criteria for our students. So once they become an English learner, these are the things that need to be met in order for them to be reclassified. Again, an RFEP student is a reclassified fluent English proficient student. Let me go ahead and admit somebody else. There we go. So first of all, on the LPAC, that is the state assessment, they have to score an overall level of a 4. Right now, they also have to meet a 2 or greater on the iReady, or they have to have a above grade level or within grade level 1, grade level below. That was a lot of words. Sorry, on the iReady, because of, again, COVID, we are relying mostly on the iReady assessment here in Beaumont Unified. But ultimately, at the end, we also need to take into consideration parent input, administrator input, teacher input, and all of that gets put together for a district approval. Sorry, Dr. Barnett, I'm talking super fast. All right. Now we have our Savings College 529 plans.
So Ismar, if you could unmute yourself, you could go ahead and talk to us about 529. Now, this is a topic that parents asked us about. So 529 plans are college saving plans that you can set up for your students. And we wanted to make sure that everyone here knows how to set one up for your own children. So Ismar, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you everyone for having me. I was really just told that you guys had general questions. So if I don't cover something, I'll be sure to drop my contact information so that you all can reach out to me and we can, make sure we get everything answered. But really 529 accounts are just college savings plans for educational purposes. Common misconception is that you can only use them for college expenses, tuition, room and board. That's not quite the case. You can actually use it for K through 12 educational expenses as well. They're really neat accounts. They pretty much invest money in mutual funds. If you're not familiar with mutual funds, if you guys have 403Bs or 457s, those are most likely invested in mutual funds. It's the same thing with a 529 account. We take funds, invest them into different types of mutual funds based off of your child's age or your students, they're based off of their ages. And of course, the risk tolerance that the parents or the custodians are willing to stomach. So we have accounts that once the kids are, I would say 12, 13, 14, we take more of a conservative approach to investing the dollars. And if the kiddos are a lot younger, if they're, 6, 7, or, barely born, we actually open up accounts for newborns, believe it or not. And we'll take more aggressive risk the younger that they are. But yeah, they're really investment accounts, and the longer the time period that we have to invest the dollars, the greater the outcome on these accounts. To begin these accounts, we highly recommend starting off with a balance of $5,000. However, the credit union does offer alternative options such as CD accounts to get you guys started, or to get into the habit of doing a monthly contribution, because that's how these accounts thrive, when you guys are actively contributing to the account. But yeah, aside from that, like I said, it's really just another method of saving for college, is what most people tend to use them for. One other big common misconception that I get asked about a lot is if these accounts are tax deductible. They are not. They are not tax deductible. It does not work like a 403B where you can deduct that from your annual earnings. It does not work that way, but rather the money that goes into the account and the growth that the account sees throughout the years, that is tax-free growth that you guys get to keep, so long as the dollars are spent on qualified tuition and room and board and books and things of that nature. So yeah. Any questions or anything else that you guys have on the topic? I don't see any coming in on the chat.
And I don't see either. Ismar, how does one qualify for a 529? Is there anything special that you have to have in order to get one?
No qualifications necessary. The credit union, where I work, Schools First, offers 529 accounts to those individuals that are non-members as well. So you don't need to qualify. There are no qualifications. Like I said, these are investment vehicles, so there are fees associated with these types of accounts. We do want to make sure that you are in a position to invest assets, because there can be risk to principal like any other investment, but really there are no qualifications. You need to be above the age of 18 if you're a parent and you're establishing the account, but other than that, no specific qualifications.
Did you say that you don't have to be a member of Schools First?
Correct. You do not have to be a member of Schools First.
Gotcha. Is there a local schools first office near Beaumont?
I believe Moreno Valley would be the closest one to your location. I'll double check and see if, I want to see who's your direct connection with schools first and see if I can reach out and see what branches are the closest, but I believe Moreno Valley might be the closest.
Yeah, there's one in Redlands, but I'm not sure what's closer, Moreno Valley or Redlands.
Either way,
Redlands.
it's Redlands. Either
Yeah.
way, we do in-persons at Redlands. I believe that advisor is there twice a week at the Redlands branch. And we also do virtuals over the phones, appointments and things of that nature as well.
Well, Ismar, thank you so much for letting us know about 529s. It was an important topic that we had a request to learn about last year, and we wanted to follow up. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'll drop my info, like I said, and anybody, please feel free to send that information out and so we can get some people started on these accounts.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Now, next thing.
Don't know where that. You think so? I don't know what I was saying.
Good. Someone's very excited for a moment there. All right. And now, let me see. We should have Dr. Amina Blazy with us. Amina, are you on the call right now? I can talk to this. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the LCAP now and revision. So keep in mind that the LCAP is our local control accountability plan, and it is a plan that we make every 3 years, and we have 3 goals. And the idea is to create a plan that's going to support the learners of all school students in our district, but then also we want to support specific groups of students that are unduplicated pupils, which are foster youth, English learners, and Title I students, and students experiencing homelessness. So the idea is to use the extra money that we get from the concentration funds for those students to support them. And so our 3 goals for our LCAP are to create a positive climate and school culture for all students, by having opportunities for them to build positive relationships and access resources from Beaumont and the larger community. Our goal 2, which is we want Beaumont USD to ensure a viable 21st century learning environment for all students that includes full access to state success in California state standards and college and career preparatory courses, which is something we talk about a lot. Success and standards and college prep courses are really important. And goal 3, which is we want to provide the optimum learning and working environment by employing and developing and retaining highly qualified and diverse certificated and classified and substitute employees, and maintaining the district facilities for the benefit of all students. That's creating a learning environment and hiring employees that will help support us. And those are all really important things for us to do. We want to have a positive environment. We want students to achieve at high levels, and we want to retain the best employees possible to help our students to grow. So we'll be revising those goals coming up. I believe this year is a revision year, and we'll be getting more input for that at one of our future meetings. But we did want to talk about the LCAP and about what that means for our district, because that is one of our funding sources. Does anybody have any questions about the LCAP? You can either type them in the chat or you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Dr. Brent. I do have a question. This is Michelle.
Yes.
So my daughter just recently got into Starlight, and I did mention to the teacher that she was an English learner. And I enrolled her in, I think it's Brilliant Minds. It's an after school program that you guys also provide, but I'm not sure if that is linked to the LCAP, or is there another program, or should I talk to the school about that she's an English learner? Or I'm sorry, I just have a little bit, I'm still new to the district.
Sure.
And I just want to make sure that she's in an LCAP program,
Right.
And just so she's evaluated within her capacities with the language. I mean, she's learning pretty fast, but
right.
Is there a certain program that I should name, or is Brilliant Minds good enough for her English learning.
I'm glad you bring that up. So actually, the name, those are all true, but it's Incredible Minds is actually the name of
Oh,
the.
incredible. There you go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. And Incredible Minds is a, right. So Incredible Minds is an actual after-school program that's designed to support any student. So it's not specifically for English learners, but any
Okay.
student that needs a little extra help. The English learner programs are happen within the school day. So in elementary school, we plan to have 30 minutes a day, enough to take a look at the specific plan for Starlight, but she should have 30 minutes of English learner instruction every day. So that gives her instruction in the English language and developing vocabulary and syntax and developing her English skills for the needs of specifically for English learners. And a lot of times that has to do with speaking and listening, reading comprehension, which are things that our general ed students also have challenges with, but we have programs specifically for English learners. We deliver our ELD program through our Wonders curriculum. So we have supplements and materials specifically for English learners that we use through there. So the best thing to do is to contact your teacher and ask about the materials that we use within Wonders with your student. That'd be the best way to find out about those specific programs in her classroom. But the materials that we've adopted are our Wonders materials with the English learner supplement we use for them. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking it.
Okay, thank you. So I'll go ahead and talk to her about it then, because I did email her at the beginning of the cycle, but she's like, we still need to do some testing. So, and she recommended the Incredible Minds, but I'll go ahead and email her about this Wonders materials then.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
So, okay, so Sean had a great question. So what are some specific resources that are offered to English learners? So specifically at every school, we have 30 minutes of ELD every day in our K-5 schools. In middle school and above, students either have a specific ELD class that is a supplement to their regular curriculum where they get specific instruction in ELD concepts. And we use either the ILET program, ILET ELL program in secondary schools, or we use the supplements that go along with Study Sync, which is our 6 through 8 English adoption, or the ELD portion of My Perspectives, which is our 9 through 12 English adoption. So we use the supplemental materials that come with our adoptions to support students in those programs. So Sean, a great question. There's a lot of resources within Wonders that we use. And Victor has a question. He said, does COVID-related federal funds help us a lot this year towards LCAP resources? It's a great question. Actually, the federal money is separate from LCAP. And so we have a program called ELO, which is the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant, which is separate from which is separate from LCAP. LCAP is state funding from the state of California, and then ELO is from the federal government, and also ESSER. And I believe there's ESSER 2 and ESSER 3, which are both, and I don't know the acronyms for those, but those are all supplementary programs that we have plans for. And we've used that for a lot of different activities to support. And those all were in response to COVID. So Victor, great question. And Shauna also brought up that we do have AVID, and the AVID strategies that we use are really good for English learners also. Specifically our close reading strategies that we use, and critical reading strategies. Those are all really, really good for our English learner students to learn how to comprehend in English. So those are all great comments that we have. And thank you for all of those. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic.
Dr. Barnett, if I could say to Michelle as well, on the agenda, I linked a score report for the LPAC. She was mentioning, teacher had mentioned something about English learner testing. And so if she's interested on the agenda, there's a sample of the score report for the LPAC just to kind of let her know what they look like. So when she sees one for her kiddo, she knows where, how they're doing on their English language proficiency.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, now topics for upcoming meetings. So we have that, and actually, Tricia, you're going to take that topic?
Yeah. So we want to know what you're interested in for DELAC. So in the chat, if you wouldn't mind, just like we had Schools First come and present on the 529 plans, if there's any topics that you want for us to present in the future, please put that in the chat so we can tailor this to, you know, what you're interested and what would help yourself and your students and your children. So if you in the chat, just tell us what are some things that you're interested for our upcoming meetings.
Trisha, real quick, can you hear me? This is Ismar again, Schools First.
Yes, hi.
Having some dropping back in. I was messaged that somebody had a quick question regarding the penalties, and I just wanted to answer that question.
Oh, yes, that came through on the chat. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming
Yeah.
back on.
Of course. So with the 529 account, since you're already adding after-tax dollars into the account, any growth that the account earns that isn't used for qualified expenses is subject to a 10% penalty. And you would need to pay taxes on that pretty much growth, like a regular investment account. But again, that's only if it's not used for qualified expenses.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Of course.
All right, anything in the chat? Any upcoming topics? Nope, I think that was the one that was answered. Thank you, Olivia, for communicating with that parent.
Trisha, I don't see it on the chat. This is Michelle.
Hi.
And also when I do write on the chat, it won't let me send the message to everyone. I have to specify it has to be a co-host or the main host.
Okay, no problem. Any topics you'd like to say? I can go ahead and jot it down.
I saw that Victor had a question. Would like us to review the resources provided to students to help our EL program. So we can do that and talk about our materials that are within Wonders, StudySync, and My Perspectives. That would be a great idea. And also ILET. That's a great question. And then we also got a question from, oh, okay. What they do quarter by quarter. That's a good idea. Thanks. Victor, thank you so much for that question. Also, Shauna said, how can parents help their students at home? It's a great question. We're going to put that in there.
Thank you. And Michelle, did you have one since your chat isn't working?
No, not so far. I'm helping my daughter read first and second grade level and checking her spelling as we go. But if there's any other ideas, I'm welcome to receiving and applying them at home.
Perfect. All right. So I see that's a need for what can parents do at home as well. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, we talked about our topics for upcoming meetings. Keep in mind that our upcoming meetings, we have the next one on February 8th, and we'll do it virtually from 6 to 7 p.m. We've had a lot of we had 24 people on our meeting today, which is great. It's a lot larger than some of our other in-person meetings. So it looks like this has been a good thing for us. So we'll continue to do that. But our next meeting is on February 8th, 2022. And the one after that is on April 26th, 2022. We'll do that virtually. We'll get that information out to you via Parent Square and our websites. I'm going to do a quick recap of our learning target and our success criteria. So today we wanted everyone to understand, and we want parents to be able to understand and provide feedback about our programs and practices to support English learners. So we identified the most spoken languages at our district. We talked about why attendance matters most, because remember, if we want to make sure that when your student is here, they're able to learn. When they're not here, they just can't learn. We identified our newly elected DELAC members. So thank you so much to Michelle Buenrostro, Rosa Marquez, Stephanie Martinez, Olivia Roscoe, and Rocio Cornejo for volunteering to be a part of our DELAC. Thank you so much. We talked about the responsibilities of the DELAC, which are to inform the English Learner Master Plan. We give input on our programs, and also to provide input on our LCAP. So thanks so much for that. We talked about a reclassification criteria. Remember, students have to have a 4 on the LPAC. They also have to score within one grade level of their own grade level on iReady, or they have to score a 2 or higher on the CASP, and then also have a parent recommendation and a teacher recommendation. Lastly, we talked about what a 529 plan is, and thank you so much, Ismar, for talking about that college savings plan and how they can open one of those accounts. And lastly, we talked about LCAP priorities, and we got some suggestions, or we'll be getting some suggestions for those in the future. Well, again, I'm Matt Barnett. I'm the Director of TK-12 Programs. On behalf of Tricia Haynes and Olivia Roscoe, I want to thank you all for coming out to our DELAC meeting. We hope to see you next time.
Dr. Barnett, can I interrupt really quick? Miss Olivia didn't want me to forget to tell them about bilingual story time.
Oh, bilingual story time.
I can't forget bilingual story time. So let me go back a slide. Sorry. She said, don't forget to tell the parents about bilingual story time at the Beaumont Library. Here's the dates and time.
Holy cow, how can we forget bilingual story time? That's a great thing that's going on. And whether your students are an English learner or not, it's a great time to hear a story in Spanish. So we love that. And we also got the request from our one plus caller about how parents can help their students reading. So with that, okay, any other last comments before we end our meeting? Well, thank you so much. And again, on behalf of Tricia and Olivia, I thank you for coming. Have a great evening, and we hope to see you in February at our next DELAC. Thanks so much.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Oh, and Ismar, thank you so much. I got your phone number. I'm going to put that